This is Sybert signing into General Zero Hour on the map Battle Plan. This is not a map I'm familiar with, so we're going to take a little look around. But in the north, as the orange USA, this is DuneTiger. And in the south, as the green China, this is Koa? C-O-A? I don't know. How do you pronounce that? Koa? Is it like Cobra, but just Koa? Anyways, some people ask, which I'm always so surprised by certain questions, because I just assume, like, I don't know. Some people ask, why do people sell the command center right away? And it's purely because you don't need it. You get a cash boost from selling it, and then when you do need it a little bit later on in the game, you can rebuild it. So you get a couple of dozers right at the start. I mean, you start with one dozer, so you typically build one or two dozers to supplement, and you just try and exist on those first couple of worker units. Now, sniping dozers, if the player is playing China or USA, can be quite an effective strat. It doesn't happen very often because most people are pretty good at protecting their dozers in that early game, but of course it doesn't work so well against GLA because they can produce workers out of any supply center. So that's why you see players sell off the command centers at the start, because you don't need it right away, and you get a little bit of cash back. So if you don't sell it off, then we may actually have a bit of a dozer hunt going on right now. Two gats splitting, one left, one right, and it looks like the one on the right is going to find its mark. Koa is going to be able to kill that dozer off, and that might be a little bit unfortunate here for DuneTiger. He still will have one dozer remaining here in the middle of the map, and actually, what in the world is this? DuneTiger, not only does his dozer survive because Koa lets it, he has built himself a Crusader tank, and not something you see very often, a Crusader from a USA player who can just build Rock Vs. They're like Crusaders, but faster and basically better in every way. They also shoot up, and that's just something you want. Wait a second. Okay, there's the other Chinook over there on the left side, but one Chinook going down, a couple of oil derricks being captured by DuneTiger, and of course he's got the spy drone taking a look at these two war factories for Koa. So DuneTiger might get both of these oil derricks, but one of them, or both of them, might actually get sniped by that gat coming right up the middle of the map. The defensive or the artillery platform could also be captured by either one of these players to try and shut down this middle section of the map. That dozer still alive and kicking over there on the right side of the map. Crusader coming right in the middle. He's going to try and save that oil derrick. It's going to get close. It might actually get killed off there as a Rock V rather, coming up to the middle of the map as well to try and save these oil derricks. One oil derrick remains. And will DuneTiger try and recapture the southern oil derricks, or will Koa wise up to this strat and capture the oil derricks himself? Only one gat remains as the last gat goes down. Baby Bert also shows up, and two dragon tanks going to be moving into the middle of the map, and this one Crusader taking so much punishment from all of the Chinese forces. So much more health in those Crusaders than in the Humvees. But two dragon tanks going down. A third dragon tank might be eliminated by just this one Rock V, as finally, Koa pushes DuneTiger out of the middle of the map. One oil derrick surviving, and in the meantime, I assume, I'm not sure what DuneTiger, no expansions appear to be taken on the sides of the map just yet. DuneTiger going to be dropping a fire base over here on the right side so that he can eventually take that supply stash over there. All of those supplies hidden on the ground. By hidden, not so hidden. Another dragon tank. Nope, the Flamer survives for the current moment. The Humvee's trying to cycle around to the other side so that they don't get caught by the firewall. But two more Flamers heading right up the middle. And this supply center on the right side being nicely established there by Koa. Going to be actually scouted here now by DuneTiger. And DuneTiger a little slow on the expansions, but also maybe a little bit slow on getting his strategy center up. Only 10% now completed. No propaganda center just yet from Koa, though. He's got the expansion, but no propaganda center. Rock V's coming back over to the left side of the map. Gonna go for the kill on that war factory, perhaps. Cut down on the production of Koa. Keep those GAT numbers a little bit lower, but he would probably have to sacrifice the Rock V's to be able to do it. One Rock V goes down, a second Rock V trying to escape. Snipes one of the supply trucks. The second supply truck will survive. Another GAT on the left side of the map. Almost done with the strategy center, but still no... oh, okay, he does finally have an additional supply center here. I mean, some players just go for additional Chinooks and just keep fewer supply centers closer to home, and then they just work from a longer distance, which is, you know, somewhat of a strategy for USA. Something that you can actually pull off as USA, I should say. Another Crusader. Wow, that's 3 Crusaders by DuneTiger. Can you even believe it? This guy building 3 Crusaders. If he does nothing else, he will be the man who built 3 Crusaders in a game. Something that we don't see ever at all, ever. Both supply trucks getting sniped. No GATs over here for defense. Nothing at all. And actually, this supply center is going to get cleaned up. The defenses are maybe a little bit slow. He might sacrifice to get it. No. The supply center does survive. The GATs push away that Humvee, and DuneTiger decides to keep the Humvee alive rather than sacrifice. Oh my gosh, so many Crusaders! 4 of them out on the map right now, plus the one from earlier. That's 5 total Crusaders. I've never heard of a USA player building so many tanks in one game. 5 whole tanks in one match. Airstrip is out, the airfield, but no MiGs just yet. GAT's going to be defending both sides of the map. A couple of tank hunters around as well. Supply center getting healed up as 2 airfields, actually. One on the left, one on the right. Maybe even a couple of tank hunters will jump inside of that building. Add an extra layer of defense to both sides of the map. Maybe even force DuneTiger to get some flashbangs to try and clear out those buildings. And DuneTiger taking the additional supplies that are relatively close, but he's got an additional supply center there, so we can at least get those. And the MiGs are now out in good numbers. They clean up that Rock V very nicely. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, the Crusaders are going to have a hard time beating those MiGs. Retreating now back to his main base. DuneTiger going to be responding with his own command center, not his own airfield. But what is DuneTiger's plan here? Because he's seen the MiGs, he's seen at least one of the airfields. He may not know about the second airfield, but he knows at least one of the airfields. And he's going to need Avengers or even just more Rock Vs to make sure that he can deal with that. All right, so he's actually sticking with this Crusader strategy. He's just packing his Avenger along with his Crusaders. I just assumed he would give up on the Crusaders and, like, make them static defense or something. But he's actually keeping them around for the current moment. One Chinook goes down. The GAT on the right side of the map successfully harassing the economy of DuneTiger. Koa retreats back down to the southern part of the map. DuneTiger with the two drones keeping an eye on Koa, and he's going to see the Helix as well. Lots of MiGs ready to bomb at a moment's notice. This GAT making its way nearly into the main base of DuneTiger, hunting more and more Chinooks. The GAT's getting scared away by the triple Crusader force at the front door. 2 Avengers now here. Gonna try and keep those Helixes and the MiGs at bay. The GAT's trying to reposition themselves. The Firebase will get a couple of shots before the Gats engage. The Rock V's rushing in, and the Crusaders now going to be here to try and save this base. The Firebase does go down, but he's going to trade out several Gats for it. The Dozer going to be absorbing a couple of shots there. Gats pushing in. They're going to be able to snipe another Chinook, but they're not quite going to get the kill on the base. The Crusader actually gets sniped. The Avenger gets sniped as the MiGs make a pass at this army, and the Crusaders leading the charge in the defense are going to push the Gats back. The Gats heading south. DuneTiger maintains that position, but he doesn't gain any real forward momentum on doing any damage to Koa. Koa pushing in with Helixes is going to be able to snipe maybe one of the Crusaders here as the Gats snipe down the Avenger, and the Helix can continue doing some damage. He's going for the ambulance, but no, the Helix goes down, and then it disappears when it crashes into the building, unfortunately. DuneTiger going to take a little bit of damage from this bunker, although no, the Avenger gets every single rocket. There aren't many rockets in there. An additional command center coming up for Koa. The airfield is here. The Avenger doesn't quite survive long enough. The MiGs clean everything else up, and DuneTiger's attack falls flat. Two Avengers here on the right side. The Crusader's the only thing remaining as the Rock V gets sniped. The pilot running forward and then decides to jump inside of the Crusader. The Crusaders have a pretty good survivability rating, especially compared to the Rock Vs in this particular game. RE Strike firing off. Carpet Bomb as well going to be landing. RD Strike going to be able to clean up that supply center. The strategy center gets cleaned up, and the supply center almost goes down. DuneTiger hanging on that infrastructure, getting eliminated as the MiGs come in for perhaps a swing. Nope, they're not going to bash anything down. A couple of tank hunters will go down, will get eliminated. DuneTiger in the midst of all this trying to capture one of those oil derricks to get himself some additional income, although the Gat cleans up that Ranger, so no additional oil derrick for DuneTiger. No one has bothered to take either one of those oil derricks. The Gat pushes in. The Humvee gets cleaned up. The Avengers not going to quite be enough to save that poor Humvee. The Crusader late to the party as well. And that Gat getting lots of free damage. That Avenger half dead before the Gat finally goes down. DuneTiger's tanks pulling back up to the north. The Dozer not able to defend that reactor. Black Lotus is finally out on the field. She's going to run into the radiation just a smidge there before heading up to the high ground. So many Crusaders. Oh, man, I can't believe how many Crusaders are actually in this game. Crusaders and Avengers, they're getting the job done, or at least they're going to try. Black Lotus is going to capture the oil derrick. Very nicely done there, and the oil derrick might just get eliminated immediately. Yep. And actually, Black Lotus is going to get hunted by this Humvee. A couple of Rangers inside of there, but the MiGs will save Black Lotus very nicely. One MiG going down, but the remainder escaping. The Humvee getting firestormed to death. DuneTiger pushes through the center of the map. Koa doesn't have a strong defense, but if he can deal with the two Avengers, he can clean this up with a Helix. Carpet bombing, is it gonna land? DuneTiger pulls to the side. DuneTiger actually doesn't have to kill two of the Gats as they go down to that carpet bombing, and there's some infrastructure over here that could be dealt with relatively easily. Two Avengers isn't going to be enough to stop the MiGs. The MiG firestorm cutting through so many of the tanks. A Humvee and a Crusader survive. Koa might not actually have anything left on the ground. The MiG doesn't get off the ground. It barely doesn't. And no, DuneTiger can clean up the airfield. The other MiGs coming in for a pass, but there's only one MiG left, and there's 2 targets to clean up. More MiGs coming in for an additional pass. The Crusader goes down in the fires. No, the Crusader survives! The Humvee gets eliminated, but now the GAT should be able to clean up that Crusader. A couple of Avengers pushing in as well, but those are just going to go nowhere. The GATs clean them up, and that Crusader is actually doing... Oh my gosh, the Crusader survives! Are you kidding? I can't believe the Crusader survived that GAT. GATs just don't do very much damage to actual armor. Search and destroy as the strategy center finally has been rebuilt. The A-10 Warthogs catch the airfield and they get the kill. DuneTiger managing to kill off both airfields at once. Koa's real strength was in those MiGs, giving him so much value. But now he's starting to get broken apart. DuneTiger not stopping the expansions from being established on the right or the left. He's going to stop this one on the right, it looks like, but after a good bit of harvesting has already happened, the Dozer gets sniped as well, making this rebuild a little bit more challenging for Koa. And there's a reactor that got snuck in those buildings back there. So Koa trying some sneaky tactics, but not quite working out. Ambo going to be joining up with the rest of this attack group. And I think that's just a, yeah, that's a supply drop zone. Cargo plane, not anything else. GAT's going to take some easy shots against these Avengers. Cleans up one of the Avengers. No Crusaders to save that Avenger. And Crusader down here got eliminated. I don't remember. MiGs come in for a pass as the Arty strike fires off. Probably going to land either on the supply center or maybe the supply drop zone. No, maybe the strategy center. Where is he going with that? Strategy center? Yeah, gets the supply drop zone. Tags the strategy center a little bit there. Catches a Humvee or 2 as well. 2 more Crusaders and an Avenger. And a Humvee, but, you know, we're excited about the real things. Oh, and the carpet bomb combination cleans up the strategy center and gets a Dozer as well. Koa pushing in with the GATs on the right side of the map. Going to be able to clean up one of the Chinooks, 2 of the Chinooks, and the third will almost certainly go down. No, it does manage to escape, but the GATs can spin up their guns on that building. Another Dozer gets sniped. The war factory that was building over here gets shut down or it gets canceled as the MiGs come in for a pass and they catch almost everything, but the Crusader survives. Both Crusaders survive. The supply center goes down and the airfield should be the next target for DuneTiger. As the GATs push further into his territory, another supply center eliminated there as the GATs go down and the Crusaders turn their guns on the airfield and they're actually going to get the kill. The command center is still alive. There is a Dozer remaining for Koa, so the rebuild can happen. The command center is here for DuneTiger as well, so the Dozers sniped on both sides won't be too problematic. Airfield getting sniped once again. The MiGs get off the ground. No, only one of the MiGs gets off the ground, but I don't think it actually has anywhere to land. Gonna have to rebuild one of those airfields somewhere. 2 Crusaders now gonna try and break down this bunker, but it's not quite gonna work. That bunker has too many rockets inside of it. Couple of Humvees, couple of Avengers, couple of Crusaders over here on the right side of the map hunting some supply trucks, and they're actually going to find a supply truck, get the kill, stop those supplies from making it back home to Koa. That one Crusader defending... Oh, that bunker didn't kill it. Koa wasn't able to kill off that Crusader, and it's stopping his supply trucks from actually bringing in additional cash. The Leaflets missed their target. The airfield is almost back up and running. Not a lot of hackers in this game from Koa. I'm not sure. He has actually been subsisting pretty much entirely on just his actual supply trucks, which is kind of surprising. Black Lotus didn't quite land all of the wins that he was hoping. The Crusaders get caught, the Humvees get caught, and the one-click saves the day for Koa as the airfield goes down. Pretty much everything else has gone down as well, and Koa holding on with his fingernails as that carpet bombing clears the ground army of DuneTigers. 2 more Crusaders, 2 more Humvees heading to the south. The A-10 Warthogs closing in as well. Ooh, the supply center goes down. The airfield, the last production structure for Koa. He's got at least 1 dozer. That's 2 GATs on the right side of the map. The command center is there, but not much remains for Koa. He doesn't have very many attacking units left. 2 GATs. Going to try and avoid that fire base. Going to just go for the hunt. And actually, ooh, this ore refinery up here captured a long time ago, reducing the cost of the units for DuneTiger. The dozer gets sniped. The EMP misses the Humvee in the south, but gets everything else, even his own airfield. And Koa doesn't have enough one-clicks to save him from everything. The Crusader is going to trade blows with these GATs, and the GATs are, I think, just going to run away. They won't die to the Crusader if they can stay out of range of it. The airfield goes down, reinforcements showing up, and this is going to be a tough base race for Koa to win. 1 more GAT going down. The last GAT gets eliminated by the Humvee and the Crusader. And Koa just has nothing left. Actually, 2 more supply trucks. 2 more supply trucks escaping to the right side of the map. I think this is his last structure, and this might be it for Koa. Koa has been defeated. DuneTiger with the tanks managing to take the game. Not often do you see a USA player build tanks, let alone win with them, but that refinery definitely helping out, and ultimately, more supplies collected. But it's impressive what Koa was able to do with just the supply trucks in that game. That'll do it for this match. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.